Continuing our buying signals series. So today we are going to go through 5 buying signals in in-person meetings. So for 8-figure B2B business, even if initial meetings are done over the net or over the phone, a lot of the actual close is done in person. And at some stage during the sales pipeline and the sales process, you will generally have an in-person meeting. And it is here where these really key pieces of pheromones and vibes and feeling out each other, is this a good fit or not, are absolutely gold. And so understanding the code and the dynamics and the buying signals in-person meetings are absolutely critical for you to build a phenomenal sales pipeline moving backwards from the point of sale. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, if you've been following us for a while, you will know that I personally love in-person meetings. There is no replacement for them in terms of understanding who your prospect is, what is going on in their head. And because with psychology, you just can't hide what you're actually feeling. In the digital space, you can hide quite a lot, but when you're actually sitting with somebody, there are all kinds of second-degree signals and silent communication that you just can't help showing. And if you're attuned to it, to buying signals or non-buying signals or no-buy signals, red flags and so on, these are just massive semaphore pieces that you really need to understand and your team needs to understand. There is no better way to really understand your own sales process, exactly what gets the fire in the eyes of your prospects, where the zone off points are with them, like when they're what you're saying, they're kind of zoning off, whatever, that means you haven't got them. And in the digital space, you just can't see that in the same way as you can when you're actually sitting having a human-to-human interaction. So I love in-person meetings, and there is no better way to help you understand your sales process in order to develop your digital marketing and your LinkedIn presence, for example, to get in front of the people that you're wanting to do business with in order to study them, and then in order to implement what you find out from that in-person vibe and dynamic. No replacement for it. Buying signal number 1, room dynamics. Now this is about who sits where. Do they know exactly why they're there? Why this meeting? Why now? What do we all want to get out of it? Now these questions are super important to understand and to gauge at the very beginning of any kind of in-person meeting. So for 8-figure B2B business, even if initial meetings are done over the digital channels or over the phone, the actual physical in-person meeting can often be where the close is done. A really great case study where we were giving a pitch to a global client, and we positioned ourselves very carefully in the room, and actually, because we took the lead, we showed the prospect where to sit. And from this meeting, we also found out some really important key things like who is the leader, which we'll go into in just a second. Now, this is super important to gauge at the very beginning of any in-person meeting. From this seating arrangement, that we could very quickly gauge who is the boss and who is the leader in the room. We could gauge when that leader, which wasn't made clear in the very beginning, was zoning out, and we reined them in very quickly and established the fire in the eyes point. So what was really on their table right now? And we closed that deal very, very quickly. Buying signal number 2, recognizing the body language between the people you are meeting with. seeing who is the boss and who is the leader. And what I mean by that is that you can see very clearly, in the case study that I just showed you, you could really see very clearly that the contact person, who is actually the boss, was looking very sideways onto this person that they had called into the room with us and looking steadily more nervous. And that told us very quickly that the boss was not the leader. The person sitting beside us, who was the COO, was actually the leader. So understanding their body language, how they're looking to each other, what their mouth is doing, how if they're leaning away from each other, leaning into each other, these are key buying signals. Buying signal number 3, understanding what it is that brings fire in the eyes. Examples here: when they actually lean forward, when they really look at you, when they look at each other when you're saying something, smiles, a lot of smiles, lots of writing is a great indicator. One of our most popular slides when we are giving talks to business commercial teams. And this is called a conversation curve. And you'll notice that it's actually the same curve as an investment curve. So what you'll see is that you need to enter your pitch very, very steadily, and there'll be a peak when you have them. And then you need to exit and segue into your close and make your offer very quickly after that point. It means you have lost control of your sales process and you are losing your prospect fast at that point. Buying signal number 4, where do they drop off? So recognizing impatience, for example. So there's a show called Lie to Me, and if you haven't seen it, do watch it, because the signals that you see in that show are very, very similar to the signals that you'll see in a buying situation. So in Lie to Me, you see people going like this. That means impatience. That's a drop-off indicator. That is not a buying signal. If you see this signal in a sales process, you are in trouble and you need to rein that in ASAP. So Lie to Me is an awesome show for reading people. Look for tapping fingers, look for people staring out of the window, and really you need to be totally in control and understanding when to shut your laptop. The number of times I have seen a presentation going on and the person giving the presentation just drones on and on without any understanding of how their presentation is being received by the key person in the room who is making all of the decisions. That can be the quiet person, that can be the leader. So when you see tapping of the fingers, a really great tactic that we have used very successfully is to shut the computer or whole hand stop your team pitch and whole hand pointing at the leader who you have identified earlier on in the meeting and say, okay, Joe, tell me, what is on your table right now? And what we have witnessed is that oftentimes this person will have been waiting to be seen. They're cranky with something else that's going on in the process, and they're actually quite irritable. But the minute all of the spotlight is on them and they feel seen, what they feel is everything here. They feel seen, then everything comes out. So phenomenal buying signal there. And buying signal number 5, when the contact, or in this case, non-decision maker, leaves the room. Because what that means is that they have set the stage, transferred the work to you and the decision maker, and they have now left that to essentially the formal close. So these are just the tip of the iceberg of buying signals in in-person meetings. And if you'd like to know more about this, then do send us a private message. I'd love to talk to you more about it. We do a lot of whiteboard work on this because it's like a game plan, really, before a sports match. Exactly the same kind of thing, because you are watching what the next move is 2 or 3 moves down, and you can predict this Very, very fascinating psychology around this. So next time we are going all in on buying signals on the phone and in video meetings, because this is where a lot of your initial selling should actually be done. No random meetings. See you next time.